We just went to Taco Bell and it was $53.
What happened to $5 footlongs?
Why is Wingstop $18.99 for a 10-piece? Since when? It used to be $10. $10 for a 10-piece with the fries back in the day. What is going on?
Now, I don't know about you guys, but it seems as though everything's been going up in price and it's not stopping at all. Now, I'm no rocket scientist, but it does seem as though the menu prices of McDonald's are a little bit too high. Last time I went to Taco Bell, one of those bean burritos that used to cost like 89 cents, bean burritos with rice, is now around $4 for a single burrito. A single burrito. If you want to get the party pack and be all fancy about it, you know, really get the soft shell tacos or even the crunchy tacos, that runs you, what, 10 tacos for around 30 bucks? That is insanity. I remember when they were $1 each, not even hitting $2. You guys remember the chicken nuggets from Burger King? How they used to be like crown-shaped chicken nuggets? Those were so good. Now, not so well made, right? The quality has gone down. I mean, Burger King in general was never my go-to, but as of recent, visiting their locations, not really doing so well. The quality has gone down immensely, and now everything is overpriced. So it's like the quality of the food has gone down, but now you're paying more for everything. It's gotten so bad that chain restaurants like Applebee's, Chili's, all these little dine-in restaurants that you go to are now competing for market share with being fast food. Essentially, their food is essentially cheaper and more of value to people than McDonald's or Taco Bell or Burger King. Basically, they're getting the attention of people that would like to buy value meals and hooking them with their own little value meal that they've come up with. 2 people can dine for $10. Now that is a steal.
Now restaurants need to stay creative to lure hungry customers back with deals that appeal to both their stomachs and their wallet.
And not only that, but McDonald's and Taco Bell and all these fast food joints have their own app, right? And you think, oh, maybe I could just buy it through the app and it'll be cheaper. You're wrong.
It's a total fabrication.
It's the same price. Maybe a little discounted, but still, you're still paying $18 for a Big Mac meal, dude. Like, in what world will I like to pay $18 for a Big Mac? Let alone McDonald's. I say the best bang for your buck at the moment would have to be Wendy's. You order a bucket of chicken nuggets for like $20. I think that's what it is. But you gotta ask for it. It's not on the menu. You just ask, hey, can I get a bucket of chicken nuggets for 20 bucks? And they'll give it to you. They will give it to you. I don't know if it's gone up in price or not, or they patched the little life hack there, but it's a really good method to kind of save money, because let's be fair, if you eat all of those chicken nuggets in one sitting, 1, that's unhealthy. 2, you should probably see a doctor, because the amount of sodium and preservatives in those chicken nuggets will probably kill you in maybe 3 years' time. Now, Subway is something that has been on every white girl's mind in high school. It used to be $5 a foot long, but now it's gotten to the point where it's $10 for a foot long. Double the price that it was before. And I get that some people, and I know this is probably just a marketing strategy back in the day, which completely backfired, by the way, because now people are associating Subways with $5 sandwiches, footlongs, right? And when they don't get a footlong for $5, then they'll start a riot because they are hangry. And you would not like to be on the receiving end of that tantrum.
Okay, but get the Okay, and maybe get your money up, not your funny up. Get your money up, not your funny up, bro. Get your money up. Get your money up. Dude, why are you doing?
Trust me, I know food service workers that do not like it when people come in angry and give them attitude. It's just not really polite because, 1, they probably don't want to be there. 2, they're getting underpaid because at this point, $15 an hour isn't really enough to even afford rent somewhere in some locations around the US. So don't be pissy around food workers is just a good little thing to keep in mind. Or anyone for that matter, actually.
So I'm in the middle of the country right now. I'm in the middle of Missouri, where visiting my parents where they live, and I just went to a local chain coffee shop and got a coffee. This latte, it's a medium oat milk latte. It cost me almost $8. Like, I'm not in a big city having a fancy coffee. This is a drive-through coffee in the middle of Missouri just cost me $8.
Okay, so one of two things. I, for one, would criticize her for buying coffee, period. Make your own coffee. I feel like that's a cheap alternative that people just sleep on, but it will actually save you a lot of money in the long run. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a simple human being that likes my instant coffee with just milk, honey, or sugar. Like, that's it. Now, I know not everyone's like that. You could substitute the milk with whatever milk you want. Almond milk, oat milk, goat's milk, whatever floats your boat. Saving money is my priority when it comes to stuff like this because you're going to use it a lot. And there's the temptation to buy and kind of splurge on little things like this that will add up in the long run. I'd recommend getting the instant coffee from Nescafe, which is pretty quality in my opinion. If not, you could probably settle for like a Great Value or an Aldi's brand instant coffee and go from there. Same thing with honey, Great Value. Sugar, Great Value. I mean, that's how you had to cut costs, right? I'm sorry. I like to treat everything like a little business, kind of, which I know it sounds really bad because it's like you're basically making everything into a commodity and doing all these things. And yeah, it is kind of bad in that way, but at the same time, it's like, in this day and age, it's like you gotta be mindful of everything. Every single purchase you make, every single, I guess, penny that you have saved could mean a lot. That's not to say you shouldn't treat yourself. I'd say probably just moderation is king when it comes to stuff like this. Self-control and accountability is also a big part of this lifestyle.
So my son graduated from college 6 months ago. And when he graduated, he was going to move back in with us so that he could find a job here in this local area and save up enough money to move out on his own. Had no problem with that. So it's been about 6 months. He has saved almost every single dime. He works a 40-hour-a-week job. Makes $40,000 a year, which back in my day was sustainable to be able to live. Apparently that's not the case anymore. You can't live on $40,000, which makes no sense to me. So we were looking online at Zillow, Google to find apartments and houses within his budget, a house to rent because he has a dog. So we said, let's write them all down and let's go check them out because pictures don't tell you what's really going on, y'all. So we drove around to some of these and I can't even tell you, some of them I didn't even feel comfortable driving down the street. They were in really, really shady parts of town, looked like a war zone. The whole house looked like it was off kilter. A lot of work to be, it just looked like it should be uninhabitable. Don't rent this. It should just be tore down, right? And then when we went to apartments, these apartments that were within his price range, and when I say price range, they were still going for $800 a month. These $800 a month apartments, I didn't feel comfortable with him living in these apartments. When I say those two look like they should have just been torn the hell down, they should have been. The only ones that are decent, he found a studio apartment that's in a nice neighborhood, $1,400 for 485 square feet. That is more than my mortgage, right? And then regular apartments, not even glamorous apartments, just one bedroom apartment that has normal square footage is anywhere from $1,300 to $1,700. We live in Montgomery, Alabama. We're not in a big metropolitan area. I don't understand how the housing market has gotten so donkey, okay? And everybody says, well, then he should just buy a house since it's cheaper, mortgage is less than rent. Well, nobody will give him a mortgage loan because he has no credit. Not that he has bad credit. He has no credit. He didn't want to get into debt. So he doesn't have any credit to show for it. So it's like a lose-lose situation. I don't know how they're living. I don't know if he can move out right now because I personally don't feel comfortable with the places he can afford moving to. And he can't afford the normal standard shit that I would have afforded back when. How are people doing this, and how do we expect our young kids, or, I mean, he's not young, he's 25, but how do we expect our youth to get ahead? I mean, really.
I do feel for this mom, but I feel even more for the son, because I'm around that age and I do have credit, but even then $40,000 isn't enough anymore. Like, because like housing and just cost of living has gone up so dramatically that 40K isn't enough. Like, the way she mentioned that her son can only afford basically houses that look like a shit shack. And not really in the most safest place around town is really crazy to me. Personally, I'm looking around for houses, and it seems as though the medium house price now is like $350 around my area, and that is a lot compared to 40K, right? Now, sure, you could save up a lot of money, you could save up, and it's it's not that straightforward of a thing where it's like, yeah, if I don't spend a single penny for the entirety of the year, I'll have 40K. No, because the government likes to take a piece, and you also got expenses you got to take care of. Uncle Sam always takes his piece and leaves you with nothing more than what you worked for, and that is it. But I am looking and eyeing a house really badly that's a new construction, and it's $409,900, and in my mind, I'm still living with my parents, and I'm saving almost every penny. I'm investing in stocks and stuff so I can get a return on my money. I'm putting all my money in the money market, links down below by the way, which is yielding me 4.25%, but if you use my link, you get it for 4.5%, which is nuts. In this day and age, 4.5% for a safe investment is pretty much worth it. And the thing is, you can use it as a checking account as well. It's kind of like a hybrid of a checkings account and a savings account, but you're gaining interest on your money, which is the main thing. A high yielding savings checkings account, basically. Of course, you could put your eggs in more of a riskier basket by going on to a brokerage account and just investing it in an S&P 500. Personally, I like to diversify. Like everyone says, you shouldn't put your eggs in one metaphorical basket, because if that basket breaks, that's it. You lost all your eggs. Now, when my dad bought the house that we are currently living in, it was around $141,000, which in my mind is crazy, because I could have afforded that with the salary I'm making currently. But now it's worth $320,000, and it's the smallest house in the community. How mind-numbing is that, to think my dad got it for 141. I'm making 40K. I could have bought this house back then, but now you can't even afford an apartment. You can't even afford anything. Now the houses are just overpriced and they're old, if I'm being honest. Sure, you can go for new construction, but the thing is, right, new constructions have flaws. There's a lot of cutting costs going on, and we'll explore that. I'll make a video on that here in a bit, but yeah, so that's why you should probably hire a third-party inspector that's vouching for you and go and inspect newly constructed houses if you're going to buy a new house. It's crazy to me because it's like a lose-lose, because like houses that are not newly built, right, let's just say they're, you know, older constructed houses, right, they are old first and foremost. And when I'm talking about like old, I mean like they're over the age of my parents. They're like 60, 50, 40, 30 years old, right? And these houses, for some reason, are going for like $500,000, $800,000. Like, like the price of a new house is like cheaper than an old existing house. Mind you, the old existing house probably needs some renovations, and especially the ones that are pushing like 80, 90 years old, they probably need some pipes to be replaced or something along those lines. God forbid the foundation isn't cracking, right? Because a cracked foundation is basically a living nightmare to deal with, because you can't just patch it up with some concrete, right? Because the concrete's just gonna fall out. You're gonna need to repave the entire foundation to actually, solve that issue. So it kind of just naturally erodes away, which is honestly scary, because there comes a time when that will happen to every single house, and it's just only a matter of time. Of course, you'll probably die before that happens, but still, it's like you're playing this really weird game of hot potato when it comes to selling a house or buying a house that's really old, because you never know who's gonna get the cracked foundation, or who's gonna get like bad piping, or a pipe's gonna explode, or a boiler just gives out, or like an HVAC system just dies. It's kind of a weird way to look at it, but at the same time, it's like kind of true, unfortunately. Now, of course, there's some places around the US that have cheaper housing, but it's still pretty up there. Like, even like in the most out of country, just rural areas of, South Dakota or the Midwest, like some of these houses are going for like 200, high 200s, mid 200s, but like nothing around what my dad paid right back in the day. It's just not feasible. I remember back in 2019 when I was working retail at a warehouse, and I was looking at Zillow on my break time, and I noticed a house. I filtered like the houses by price, and I basically looked at things that were under $150,000, right? And I found a little like house that was a 2-bed, 1-bathroom, going for like 99K, 96K, something around those lines, right? I was like, wow, a house under 100K? That's actually a really good deal. Of course, me being naive and everything, it was kind of in the flood zone next to like a river, and kind of like near the beach, so it was prone to basically be slapped on with flood insurance, not to mention house insurance. And also, I didn't have the money to actually put a down payment on this, so I'd probably be paying PMI on it, which will cost me an arm and a leg, and that isn't even taking into account my expenses like phone bills, utilities, food, gas, all these different things, right? And even mobile homes, right? Back then, I was looking around, and I did notice some mobile homes going for like under $10,000, $16,000, $20,000. Like, it was so cheap back then. Now, the price of a mobile home is around that $100,000 house, right? You have mobile homes selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands. You can't find anything that's under $20,000, $30,000 anymore. And sure, they sound like a good deal, but they're mobile homes. They're prone to breaking more easily, and they need continuous, consistent renovations. So sure, you may not be paying that much, but let's take into consideration how old the mobile home is, maintenance on mobile homes, all these different things you got to take into account as well. So it's like, not only you're paying for an overpriced mobile home, now you're paying for all the maintenance that should have been done by the previous owner, but they decided to just sell it off rather than deal with it. But yeah, it's your boy, Poor College Boy, signing off. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Are you guys experiencing the same things as I am? People in the video, all these little things that are kind of adding up and just being really annoying because you want to save up money for that home or that car or what have you. Also, be sure to check out the link down below for that extra 4.5% on the money market account. Not only do you get it, but I also get that same percentage for 3 months. So yeah, thanks for watching.